Invading the internet, covering Web 2.0, coast to coast, worldwide, and everywhere in between. This is where you put the social in social media. We are Social Blade.
Oh yes, we are Social Blade, and we are broadcasting live around the world, including the lovely and exceptionally hot Las Vegas. It is 106 degrees right now. Luckily, I'm wearing shorts. Hi, I am JD Rucker. I'm one of the hosts of the Social Blade Show, and I'm joined today with other people, including
Aaron Ryan.
Yeah, this is Jason Ergo here, and while it might be that hot over there, it's actually 85.6 currently in my room. My AC just broke, so yeah.
And I'm Jeff Kreider.
Beautiful. And we have a couple of special guests with us today. I'll let Jason introduce them.
Yeah, we got Chris and we got Brian of the Mario Marathon. Basically, these guys do a marathon every year playing video games and raising money for charity. So we'll be getting to them in a little bit, but thanks for joining us, guys.
Thanks for having us.
And again, I am out in the parking lot, and we're gonna be talking about some pretty amazing social media stuff. I mean, this week, I don't know, how would you describe this week, Aaron?
It was jammed-packed.
Jam-packed with social media goodness and amazement. It was to the point I wasn't even going to be on the show because obviously we start the show just prior to me going up to my room, but I couldn't miss the show because it's just been a huge week with Facebook, YouTube, all kinds of stuff. Speaking of YouTube and speaking of videos in general, Jason, talk to us.
Yes, it was definitely a big week for YouTube. There was finally, if you've been following this at all, there has been a lawsuit going on with YouTube and Viacom for several years now, I believe. And finally this week they have a result. Viacom, basically what the lawsuit was, it was that Viacom was claiming that YouTube knowingly uploaded lots of copyrighted material, all sorts of Viacom shows and whatnot, to YouTube and was sharing it there, and they were making money off of it, and they were basically doing it on purpose. So the finding of the court finally resolved it as not being true, or they threw out the case. Viacom lost the case. Verdict was for YouTube/Google. So this, I guess, is a really big win for YouTube, because if they had lost here, they would have owed $1 billion. If it's not the biggest lawsuit ever, it definitely is one of the biggest. What do you guys think?
My personal, big deal. Yeah, it's just $1 billion. I mean, we're talking about Google here. That's like pocket change. No, it's big, and it's not just. Keep in mind, this is not. To me, this doesn't just stretch about discuss Google and this particular lawsuit in general. The thought process here is that is a user-generated content dependent site that utilizes certain, I guess you could say, negative forms of garnering content, which was the contention of a Viacom. Are they responsible? And are they held off? I think that in this particular case, had Viacom gone through and gone with a much lower, gone for a much lower number, something more reasonable, that they would have probably had a chance to win, because in many cases they were in the right. They did things wrong, and I don't want to go into the details of the story itself. They did their own negative stuff, but for the most part, YouTube had, there was very clear evidence that they had done the bad things, but Viacom, by going for so much, they were basically saying, look, if you guys, we want the money, they did wrong, and we're about to set a precedent for user-generated content-based sites going forward. And I don't think I think that's what killed them. Had they gone for 100 million, 50 million, even 200 million, I think they might have won. But just that whole lower or super high number, it's like, well, we just can't do it because we'll be opening up the floodgates to lawsuits. That's my opinion. I could be way off.
Yeah, no, you're right there. I think that they did ask for a lot too much. And I definitely think that at the beginning, YouTube definitely was at fault, but they've really done a lot since this to stop it from happening in the future. And then that's kind of what one of the things in the lawsuit was about, that they were saying that they weren't able to do anything at that time, and they've since rectified it, and this isn't happening anymore. What they've implemented over the years is basically a system called Content ID. We're going to show just a very brief part of a video that YouTube actually, someone from YouTube, Margaret Gould Stewart, presented at TED. Please check back on our website here. You can watch the whole video, but it's really pretty interesting. They match up the clips from the videos, and they can use what's called a heat map and determine exactly
how the brain of the system works. Here we can see the original
Oops, sorry. They basically can use this heat map here, and it compares the video footage in both places and also audio footage, and it can detect if it's copied or not. And basically every single video that gets uploaded to YouTube goes through this whole system, and it compares it against every other video that's ever been uploaded that is in the Content ID system. So there's a lot of calculations done every single time you upload a video to YouTube.
Is that the video that has the couple's wedding footage?
Yeah,
that they
yeah.
show and use as the example, and
Yes.
and they show that that footage is just using that unique footage, but using the song in the background. Like Sony allowed it to happen, and Sony actually used it. What did they use it on their iTunes? Something they used it for promotional things.
Right. What basically the Content ID system does is first off it checks every video as they get uploaded, but then if it finds a match, it sort of gives the content owners choices of what they want to do. They can either block it and have the video completely taken down from YouTube, and you'll see those messages saying this video has been removed from a copyright claim from so-and-so. Or they can choose to monetize it. So you'll see, for the one you're talking about, since a song's playing, you'll see a little pop-up ad saying, this song is so-and-so, click here to buy it on iTunes. So it allows the user-generated content to be used, but also the rightful owners get credit for it in terms of, they can watch how many times people are using their materials and also put advertisements in there since you're using their materials there. And not only does it do it with if you're just using one song, but it's smart enough so if there's multiple claims, if a video has, we'll say, 3 songs in it, it'll know each of those different songs in when they're used in there and be able to credit each of the different copyright owners for those parts there. So it's a pretty cool system.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, it's really complex though if you think about it. I mean, from our perspective, it just seems complex, but from YouTube, and I actually listened to that TED Talk. It seems like they have a really efficient system that they just go about, and it's really neat to hear her talk about it.
Definitely.
Yeah. So, JD.
Yes.
Do you want to tell us about another complicated system?
Yes, I do. I was very excited. Those who know me on social media, they know that I like Twitter a lot. I'm a big Twitter fan. I use Twitter with Foursquare. I use it to do searches. I use it for data. And I have a good amount of friends on Twitter, and they made an app for Facebook, the other site that I don't like as much, but I'm kind of warming up to lately. And they made an app that basically allows you to cross-reference your friends. So if you have friends that are on Facebook and Twitter, and you only have them on Twitter, then you can go to Facebook and add your friends. Find them so that you're friends with them on both Facebook and Twitter. And it was beautiful. I mean, the way they did it, the integration was wonderful. And it lasted for about 45 minutes before Facebook dumped it. Blocked it. They threw up all kinds of stuff. They didn't say a word about it. And they basically said 2 letters. And I won't go over those letters. You can always read the article on socialblade.com/show. But they sent a message to Twitter basically saying, sorry.
Invading the internet, covering Web 2.0, coast to coast, worldwide, and everywhere in between. This is where you put the social in social media. We are Social Blade.
That you have set situated in groups. You could also even post it onto Facebook fan pages. I'm sorry, pages, not fan pages. There's no such thing. But you can post it to Facebook pages and groups and stuff like that. It's going to be very robust. Thank you, sir. It's going to be very robust, very amazing stuff. The difference is, and this goes back to what we were just talking about before, is that right now you can do Foursquare, Gowalla, all these things, and attach them to Facebook. You will not be able to, mark my words, I don't have to read it to know that you will not be able to post Facebook onto any place else other than Facebook. They will keep it a closed network, just like I'm serious, I'm not kidding. Just like
they
don't
will.
want Twitter,
they definitely will.
because they want to be the only ones. They don't want
like Apple.
They don't want to encourage you to use these other apps. They don't mind the other apps encouraging you to use Facebook. They're happy. Hey, you want to be able to paste to Facebook from Foursquare? No problem. You know, you can put a Foursquare app on here, and then as you're checking in with Foursquare, we'll also let people know about it on Facebook and keep you active there. But vice versa, not going to be true. Mark my words.
The only thing that I can see a big difference between the other applications or the other services and the Facebook one is I think they're going to make it definitely easier for businesses to use, and there's going to be definitely a business side of the location that will be, strictly business, whereas Foursquare is not really heavy onto the business side of it.
It's probably going to be a superior service. I'll give Facebook that. This is probably going to be pound for pound overall more useful and superior to Foursquare. Foursquare is going well with restaurants and reviews and stuff like that. Tips, their tip section is great. Gowalla, Yelp, Bright Kite, all these have their little niches that they're starting to gain a foothold in.
Yeah.
Facebook's going to come in and say, look,
You can attach it to your Facebook fan page, and you can do all of this. And I am Mark Zuckerberg. Bow down to me at my sweatshirt.
I think his voice needs to be a little higher. Just wanted to say, like Ben F. 2004 in the chat says, as far as he's concerned, you might as well put up a neon sign stating "Rob me blind." Also, e-stalkers can now become real-life stalkers, and the possibilities are creep-tastic. I like that word, creep-tastic.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if Facebook can't even handle our privacy without location services, can you imagine the privacy backlash of, us telling Facebook where we are at all times directly? Oh, it's going to be unreal.
They already know.
No, but having direct access to it. I mean, we already have these problems with Foursquare, Bright Kite, but...
Jeff, I hate to tell you this, man, but if you've been on Facebook for more than a year, then there's already a tracking device implanted into your left nostril. They already know exactly.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Don't blow too hard.
Speaking of Facebook and connections, it looks like, the rumor is actually Facebook and our friend Skype here that we actually use for the show, Skype Beta, awesome service. Skype and Facebook look like they're going to integrate, and it's not necessarily confirmed, so just going to put that out there. But it seems as though a lot of people are wanting Skype to go onto Facebook, and if you see on the screenshot there's a little tiny icon that's showing beside a person's name, and it's not showing for everybody. So they were asking here on allfacebook.com if other people are able to see that as well, because for some people you can see that have used their Skype and put it on there as an application, and it'll show up right there and you can call them. Facebook has played around. Well, we all know that they have a chat platform, and they've tested certain video chat products, but they're thinking that it probably won't be Facebook behind it. It'll probably be a Skype thing, and offering it as a Facebook application. Do you think that we should have Skype integrate with Facebook? You think that's a good idea? And the other thing is I wanted to touch base on Skype, because we've had various conversations here in amongst the Social Blade team about whether Skype is social media or isn't. So first, should Skype integrate with Facebook? What do you guys think?
Well, real quick, Aaron, I have that on my Facebook. I mean, it shows your
Really?
Skype status and everything. Yeah. I mean, it's been like that for a while now. So whenever you make a comment or whenever you just post something, or even just on your profile, I know if you're online or away or what your status is for Skype.
See, we're already tracking you. It's
Okay.
the left nostril.
I think that might be because Skype has a Firefox plugin. I know. I personally didn't allow it to install it, so I don't have it on mine. I can't show you, but that's probably what you guys are seeing there.
We're so smart, Jason.
Because I mean, if it's just a plugin, anyone can.
Mistake.
Are you using Firefox, Jeff? Just
No, Internet Explorer. I know. Don't shun me. Don't shun me.
That's fine. They might.
I
mean, it's not fine. But
IE.
they might have a plugin for that as well. But I mean, if it is just a plugin, then that's not all that revolutionary. It's cool. Don't get me wrong. It's definitely a good feature, I think. I don't see why they shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Do you remember installing perhaps a Facebook application?
No, I don't think it was a Facebook application.
Skype?
Again, I'm telling you, it's
No?
most likely just a plugin that Skype installs. Because, I'm absolutely positive Skype does install a plugin for Firefox. I just didn't want it, so I got rid of it. And I don't use
because
IE.
that has not happened to me, or I would have it. So I'm going to have to look into that. Okay, so on to the second question. I want to know, please feel free to add it into the room. Do you believe that Skype is a part of social media? JD?
Yeah. So do you? Yeah. So is Skype considered social media?
I don't think so
Right.
because it's like a one-on-one thing.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
first, my opinion is I don't think it's social media, but look at us right now. Is this one-on-one? We got, 4 people
No,
on
but
video right now.
I view it as my cell phone. Like I view it as like my telephone or my landline.
There's
It's just like another three-way calling.
Yeah. Yeah, no, in my opinion, it's a tool. Skype, Gtalk, AIM, all those things are tools for communicating. But at least to me, I mean, the definition of social media is very loose. But to me, it's more of like a network or a website that you can interact with, or a service. Well, not service per se.
What if they did real-time analysis of what we're talking about, and then you have trending chat topics on Skype? That would be social.
That would be
I think
scary.
that would, yeah.
That's crap. Well, what's the name of that government? Echelon. That's Echelon you're
NSA?
talking about. I'm sure the government already has invested in that.
It's like trending topic, like Al Qaeda meeting. It's like, oh, I wonder what's going on
So
there.
if we're looking for qualifiers for what is social media and what's not social media, socialized, obviously, has to be socialized. Have to be able to in some way share media, and by media that's a very loose interpretation. Media could be your own words that you're using out there. So it could be a blog. A blog to me is part of social media. Tumblr is part of social media. Flickr is part of social media. All these different things. It needs to be a site where you can choose who you interact with. And so, in essence, what I'm getting at is based upon those criteria, which I pulled from some source, some authority source, I think Sociable or Social News Watch or something like that. Based upon those criteria, and with the understanding that a site like TweetDeck or a tool like TweetDeck is considered a part of social media, I would venture to say that Skype is a part of social media without necessarily being a social media exclusive tool or considered a social media website. So I'm leaning towards Aaron's assessment.
The kind of core for me of what social media is people spreading information socially, which the oldest form would be just kind of word of mouth. So it's definitely a tool to propagate word of mouth.
Definitely. I'm in a chat room on Skype that is about 100 people. Vast majority of them are big users or on Twitter or other things, and they use this room as a place to communicate directly with each other in real time. They use it as a place to share links and to ask for digs and ask for retweets and all this other stuff. And it's a very, very hard to follow room, because you can, some days there'll be 400 different new topics or new posts in there. But technically speaking, I mean, I'm using Skype to enhance my social media experience.
Sure.
So even though we look at it as a true, you can use Skype as your phone, you can use Skype as your, so many things, I think I'm leaning towards it is social media on the outskirts. You know what I mean? It's not like directly Twitter or Facebook or Dig or anything like that, but it's close enough for me to call it social media. I'm with Aaron on that one.
Well, see, the problem I have with it is in order to get that information, you have to be invited into that group. Whereas if you're on Twitter, Facebook, or something, you have the ability to stumble upon it, or to come across a little serendipity or so. But for Skype, you have to be invited to get that the information to be provided with the value.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's just not open. But it's not open. It's a closed.
Well,
neither
is
network.
Facebook, in order to continuously interact with people, you have to add them as friends. So, I mean, the thing is that those are social networks. We're talking about social media as a whole. So, I mean, even though you can't really have social media without social networking, sometimes people blend the two too much together. And I don't see it as necessarily a tool. And perhaps, like we've had people bring up Gtalk, MSN, AOL, Ergo was saying last night. Perhaps those are what they're titled now that we have a definition such as social media. So, we have to kind of take those things and maybe see them as having a new name, a new category that they fall under.
So is your telephone social media?
Yes.
No, so we've had social media since
your
telephone. Telephone? No. I mean, are you talking about cell phone?
Telephone. Just any telephone. Because, I mean, that's all it's doing also.
Because social media, social media, it includes text, video, pictures, some type of content that's in a media form. Voice, anything like that. So, no, not your regular telephone.
You just said voice. Hold on. Voice. That telephone is voice.
Time.
No, but it has to be...
I think that...
Wow, we were getting in a good debate there, Diddy.
I know, and that's why I'm saying time. I think at this point, if I'm not mistaken, we have it at a 2-2 tie amongst the guests. We have a tiebreaker guest, amongst the hosts. We have guests here who can break the tie for us. And we can continue this debate later, but I want to ask you guys just yes or no, based upon the information that we've just discussed and what you know, is Skype social media?
Brian? Well, so Skype as a tool, I think, is not social media, but your example of a chat room that's more persistent than you, perhaps that you can jump into as a source to just pull information out of, is more of a social media resource. Like, I could see like a news group or like a BBS is like a foundation for social media, how things would spread socially, and that seems more like it than just using Skype as a phone service.
Gotcha. So is that a yes?
That was a yes and no.
Excellent. So it's a 3-3 tie. It is a 3-3 tie. We do. In other words, what this means, folks, to our guests, our hosts, as well as
I'm going to make it a tie, still a tie, because I don't think it is at all related to social media. I think, like Brian said, you can use it in the same way that you might use a news group or a mailing list or anything like that, but it's just a tool to get a message out. It is in no way a social network. Just because it's, to me, it's the equivalent of AOL Instant Messenger, where I have buddies, but they come and go, but it's not really a social network like Facebook or MySpace or something like that, where you are kind of bombarded constantly with people's status updates and pictures and videos, and whether you want it or not, it's there. It's just a tool to talk to people like my phone is.
So what if we say Skype is a tool much like a web browser is a tool, and a web browser in and of itself is not social media, but how you use it, it could be considered social media.
It could be used to be part of getting the message out, but it is not in itself social media.
So
Yeah. I would totally agree with that. Because I think my idea of social media is being able to broadcast or have a message and broadcast it to multiple people or huge amounts of people quickly. And with Skype, you can't do that. Twitter, I can do that. Facebook, I can do that.
But JD said he can go tell 400 people to dig whatever he wants, and they'll do it. That sounds social.
That sounds social to me, baby. I agree.
But he's still limited to 400 people.
Right, that's
social media?
The particular use of the tool.
Think
that's not its design. It just so happens you can do that.
I think you can use it for whatever you want. It's like saying a web browser is social media, and then saying, but it does Facebook, so it's social media, and someone else saying, no, it does CNN, it's not social media. It's a tool, and it's up to an implementation to decide what it's doing or a use of that tool.
We have to continue this debate. I propose that I move that we move this discussion to a future episode and give it its due. Do I get a second?
That sounds good.
Oh, definitely.
You know,
I'd love to go on about it.
As much as I love this debate, and it is one of those debates that can truly define. It's truly is a debate that can help define Social Blade as a show, because I guarantee you, Leo's not talking about Skype versus social media in there. Nothing against Leo, I like Leo and all, but we have bigger fish to fry. We have bigger oompas to loompa. Okay, we got mushrooms to eat, princesses to save, and by golly, there's charity involved in it too. Is there not, Jason?
There absolutely is. So, yes, Brian and Chris, thanks for joining us here again. Brian and Chris, for the past 3 years, this will be year number 3, have been running what they call the Mario Marathon. What that entails is they basically sit in the room that you see them in right now, and for an entire weekend, or sometimes even longer, they play Mario games, broadcasting it on Ustream, and through social media, word of mouth, they get many, many people to watch and raise money for the Child's Play charity. So, guys, thanks for joining. And can you tell us a little about the marathon and like where it came from and whatnot?
Sure. The idea for the Mario Marathon started, you said, we did the first one about 2 years ago, and it was really maybe 4 or 5 months before that we got the idea. I happened across something on Ustream, a stream of some guys playing Zelda games, and they were just sitting in their dorm room playing Zelda games, and they asked people to send them some money to buy pizza, and they ended up raising like $1,000 or $2,000 for pizza, and they decided they'd give the extra money to Child's Play. I was like, wow, that's kind of crazy that you can raise $1,000 by playing video games on the internet. If we really focused on doing it just as a charity event, nothing for ourselves, and just kind of pushed it out there as kind of a big publicity stunt, that it might work, and it was an amazing success, in my opinion. We started the first year with a goal to raise $1,500 and raised $12,000 in 2008. Last year, we raised $29,000 for Child's Play.
Wow.
Hopefully we can top that this year.
Yeah, so just the charity that you guys are supporting here, can you tell us a little about that?
Yeah, Child's Play is a video game industry charity. It was started by the guys at Penny Arcade. It's a web comic, pretty popular. They made the Time 100 most influential people of the last year, so that's kind of cool.
Wow.
Probably a big part of that had to do with the fact that they started Child's Play. Child's Play gives video games, toys, books to kids in children's hospitals all around the world. A lot of what they do is video game related, and initially the idea was to kind of protest the negative stigma associated with video games, that you play video games and become a serial killer. That's not true, except people in the non-social media. So we've been trying to get the word out and say, hey, we're doing something that's fun, which is what they're trying to do. And it's just been something that the entire video game community has gotten behind.
Yeah, so How many? Do you know how many people have been watching this event over the years?
Ustream has some statistics on or metrics on unique viewers, and it's something like 150,000 unique viewers each year. I'm not sure exactly how they count that, so it could be.
Yeah.
It could be. I know we've got over 20,000 unique viewers at one time, or in one session, and then we've had multiple different sessions. That says we've had a total viewership last year, so the total amount of time people had this stream running accumulated to like 12 years.
Damn.
And we just had people go spend that time working minimum wage, we would have raised a lot more than $29,000.
Wow.
Yeah, but they wouldn't work without once they were getting the money themselves.
Yeah.
So this charity part is the best part. Sorry.
So it's quite a big thing, a lot of fun. We get donations from all over the world, people watching from all over the world. There's a huge amount of support in Australia. We hear from a lot of people there. One of the guys that did it with us the first year's moved to Australia. There's a place called Mana Bar in Brisbane, Australia, that contacted us and said, "Hey, we want to run your event on our TVs like it's the World Cup."
Really?
We said, "Okay."
That's awesome.
So that's going to be for this year then? They're going to do that? That's awesome.
That's sweet.
It's like people are really excited about it there, and they're signing up to attend this event to watch us play video games.
Wow.
Nice.
No pressure, right?
Yeah, I know. We've had a huge amount of success promoting the event this year, to the point that it's like, wow, we've done all this promotion, and it's like going to end up being three guys on the couch playing video games. Like we've over promoted ourselves.
Live up to the hype.
Yeah.
So what are some of the things you do to
you
promote?
guys...
I'm sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
What are some of the things you guys do to promote the Mario Marathon?
Well, we've got a lot of contacts with just different gaming websites, which is kind of our base that we start from, and then usually we'll submit those articles to Dig, Reddit, other social media. Last year we used Twitter a lot more than, I don't even know if Twitter was around in 2008.
It was, but not widely used.
Not widely used. So
Twitter was new for us last year, and it took us a little bit to kind of understand the terminology and such.
So we used Twitter this year. The first year we kind of used the chat room as our social or our interactive platform. We still have a chat room this year, but in 2009 we still had the chat room, but we kind of used Twitter as our official way to communicate. So if you want to ask us a question, ask us on Twitter and we'll respond. And what that does is you're asking us a question and you're also telling all of your followers, hey, these guys are doing something, and it just builds and builds and builds. We ended up being like the second, I think we were the second on the trending topics list for a while last year, below Chuck Norris. So that was
awesome.
It was like,
yeah, but we were competing against Michael Jackson had just passed.
Bruno had just come out.
Yeah, Bruno was out. There was a couple other crazy things going on in Eastern Europe or something like that. And
I remember.
so we were competing against some pretty big topics, and Chuck Norris was the only one that kicked our butt.
Well, now you got Justin Bieber.
I think you got also Twilight this weekend. I'm seeing messages pop up.
No.
YouTube's doing some stream right now, so I think it might be coming out tomorrow. So people will be talking about Twilight.
Yeah, Ergo, you're banned. You're banned. We have a couple of questions from our audience. One from Directional Pad. He has a question. Has there been an official Reddit submission for Mario Marathon? Did I say that okay? Mario Marathon 3. If so, what is the URL?
There has not been, and there will not be until we get started tomorrow.
Oh yeah, I guess we didn't really say that. When does this officially start?
This starts in however many hours.
We start at 11 a.m.
Actually,
almost
exactly 12
12
hours
hours
from
now.
12 hours and 5 minutes.
A little bit of a pre-show entertainment. I don't know what we have in store yet. I haven't worked on it yet. But
we kind of have our stream. Hi, people. It's up on. You can go to mariomarathon.com, or you can find us on Ustream. It's going to be running until we go live with just some kind of filler videos. You can see us but not hear us. So if you're listening to Social Blade, you can hear us now. Maybe they're a lot of sync, but it's got our video feed has information about our goals and statistics on the event.
So yeah, I'm showing everyone the video feed you have going right now, and it looks like you've already raised $2,890.
Yes. So
That's a lot of pizza.
That's a lot of pizza. Last year we had like maybe $300 when we started, and most of that was like I donated $100 and my mom donated $50 or something. So it was not nearly the support we've seen this year. Hopefully that's an indicator.
We have another question.
Our success.
But just real quick, with the donations and stuff, we'll probably mention this a few times as the thing goes this weekend and into next week. But it sometimes helps to look at the total donation broken down into what that really means to kids in these hospitals, and that's really the equivalent of right now 22 Nintendo DS Lites, 98 DS games, 58 Wii games, or 294 Mr. Potato Heads. So that's up to 300 kids that could get something to play with that would take their mind off of chemo or dialysis or recovering from some type of surgery, and give them kind of a more normal life while they're in the hospital.
Oh, that's awesome.
That is awesome.
It really does hit home there.
Well,
Where can we donate directly?
I have a question from.
Yeah, JD just asked, where do you take the donations? How does the donation system work, and where can
the
people
donation
donate?
system? We if you go to our website mariomarathon.com or on the Ustream page, there's a kind of orange Donate Now button. You click that, fill out a form, sends you to PayPal. The donations go directly to Child's Play Charity. You'll get a receipt in your email from them, and that's it. We use some of the PayPal APIs to get notifications, and that's how all the information on the video feed that you can see and on our website all gets updated through the PayPal APIs. But we're not actually touching any money or anything.
Nice. Well, that's good. We'll make sure to put that information in our show notes for the day. Aaron, you had some more questions from the audience, didn't you?
I do. Da Vinci Virus wanted to know if you, and this is a great question, especially if people want to get involved. Is it just you and your friends, or do you take volunteers if people do want to get involved in your marathon?
Well, we've actually we both work. Actually, all three of us work for Purdue University, and Purdue today ran a staff newsletter, and there should be an article in the student newspaper tomorrow. And so people from Purdue have actually already contacted us and said, hey, we're in town over the summer. Can we come hang out and stuff? And it's not really like a location that we can have, a whole bunch of people just come hang out. So we have our wives, our friends, and a couple of select coworkers who come, and they're kind of our support team, and they'll be here to help entertain and answer questions and help us play. But Brian and John and myself are kind of the primary players, but so we don't really take volunteers to help play or to really help out.
And if somebody wants to get involved, they can help. If they want to get involved in our event, they can help us promote. We do a lot of stuff with social media, share it on Facebook,
tweet it out to
your followers on Twitter, post it on forums that you frequent or where people will care. Don't spam.
If someone's good at doing video and writing, there's the CNN iReport type thing. Other news sites have that kind of thing as well. So they can always help in that way.
It's also, if you've got maybe like $100 and a computer, you could run your own game marathon. You could just do it. You may not be as successful as we've been. I'd probably put 5-6 months with of work into each of the marathons, building on what we've done the previous years to try to make it as successful as it's been. But go do it yourself. Have your friends play. Mm-hmm. It's all for charity.
So who do they contact if they want to, let's say they want to do an interview? Obviously, I had intentions of contacting you and putting you guys on Examiner, which has a decent reach. But if somebody wanted to contact you, obviously Twitter, email, what's the best way to, if they wanted to interview you?
Probably email would be the best way to, at team@mariomarathon.com. If you go to our website, somewhere on the left, there's like a press and publicity link. And that eventually has like a press kit with a press release and some information there you could get. Don't call my cell phone.
So a cell phone number is no. And also, keep in mind, I don't know if anybody missed this part. We're talking about 12 hours from now. To me, I think the best time to get an article published would be sometime between obviously now as well as all the way through till tomorrow evening, because you can always get that resurgence on day 2 is always a big thing. It's a big part of the success of an event. Day 1 is loaded with excitement. By day 2, that infusion of fresh people watching who just heard about it, that viral buzz going, utilizing Skype as if it was a social media site to understand it, stuff like that.
We had a really cool chart that you showed last year after the Mario Marathon on Social Blade. Kind of charted, it graphed the different events, like, each time that an article made it onto the front page of Dig, or certain celebrity tweets, or just different things happening, different posts on sites of interest, and the impact that had. And it was really the third day that we kind of peaked as far as popularity and donations.
Yeah, now I'm going to try to pull up that graph so we can show it also. But can you tell us about that? Like, you have made some custom applications even to monitor Twitter. Is that right?
Yeah, we have mainly the thing we have to monitor Twitter just pulls in any tweet mentioning Mario Marathon, our hashtag, and then we can kind of filter within that list and do some things to do our prize drawings. A lot of we have T-shirts and video games and some autographed books from Penny Arcade, autographed picture of Will Wheaton hanging out with a weird-looking Mario. And we're going to give all that stuff away. A lot of the contests have to do with sending out a tweet with our hashtag, and that's kind of the system we use for that.
Now, what is your hashtag?
Just Mario Marathon.
Sounds like
so that's twitter.com/Mario Marathon, hashtag Mario Marathon.
Yeah,
so 12 hours from now, that's what we're going to want to do, right?
Yep. You too can annoy your friends with Mario Marathon tweets.
Now, how long are you guys going to be doing this year? Do you have a set time?
So we don't have a set time. The first year we said, hey, we're just going to play these games, and we did it, and we raised a lot of money, and that was great. And the second year we said, okay, we'll play each game, or we kind of set a donation goal for each game, one goal to beat it, and then we had a second round of goals to go back and 100% the game, so complete the levels that we warped past or didn't need to complete. And the goals kind of doubled each time, and the last goal was something like 24,000, and that was to 100% Super Mario Sunshine, which is a pretty difficult game, and we never really expected to do that. So it was like Monday night, it was Monday morning, and we hit 24,000, and we had to do it, and we really didn't have the time off work, and it was like just kind of, we put it there so there'd be a goal, but we never really expected to hit it. So we ended up doing it and then raised another 5,000 on top of that. This year we've set up a goal for every single level. Nintendo's released 2 new Mario games in the past 12 months since our last event. New Super Mario Bros. Wii and Super Mario Galaxy 2. So that adds a massive amount, probably an extra somewhere between 24 and 48 hours of additional gameplay. So we've set goals that are substantially higher to unlock every level in all the games is something like $150,000, which again we don't expect to hit, but knows.
Well, speaking of goals, Directional Pad in our audience has said if someone donates, you actually right now are $60 away from 3,000, and this is before the marathon has even begun. And so he or she has said if someone donates $35 or more, he or she, Directional Pad that is, will contribute $25 to make or break it. And with all fairness, they will donate the $25 anyways. But it's, kind of giving that...
What's the link again, guys?
MarioMarathon.com.
That's so hard to remember. Couldn't you pick something easier?
Yeah, everyone was like, you should call it Mario-thon. And I was like, yeah, but...
I love it.
How would you know how to spell it? Be Mario-a-thon or Mario-o-thon or...
Or marathon.
Yeah,
Wait,
people don't...
it's marathon. Okay.
It's got to be words and indent.com or people don't understand it.
I got a very serious question to ask you.
Okay.
Do you guys fight over who is going to be Mario and who's going to be Luigi?
There is a cage that we've built out back, similar to your UFC style cage, and it's a kind of no rules except fish hooking is not allowed. No, we never fight about that. It's like more. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. Some of the games, it's like paper, rock, I suck scissors. At that game. I don't want to do it. We'll alternate levels sometimes. It's kind of whoever's good. Someone has to take a break, go sleep, then we'll pick it up. We can all play them. We're good at them in various degrees, depending on the game. But yeah, it's pretty easy.
So individually, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you're probably asking the same question. I was just going to ask, individually, do you have a favorite?
That was my question. That's exactly how I was going to phrase it too.
We're thinking alike.
Yeah. No,
my favorite game is, my childhood favorite game is probably Super Mario World. But currently my favorite game is probably Super Mario Galaxy. I just thought it was a creative way to take Mario in a new direction, and I think Galaxy 2 definitely builds upon that. There's a lot more you can do in the game, and the levels, there's tons more types of levels, and the cross between 2D and 3D is really neat. But I think Galaxy kind of broke the mold of what your Mario game really was, and took it to a new level.
I hate Mario.
Beautiful. We are officially
Sonic the Hedgehog tomorrow.
If you refresh Mario Marathon, the donate page, we are officially at $3,040.00.
And we're donating right now also.
Our thing up there.
Yes. We have to thank Directional Pad and as well as Subatomic Doc. They've made a $75 donation between the two. So that's great. If anybody else, if I'm missing you guys, the chat's kind of going fast. Thank you as well.
I plan on donating more tomorrow myself, but we're donating, Social Blade's donating $10 live right now.
Thank you.
I already did, Jason.
Awesome.
Jason, I already donated for Social Blade.
Well, we just donated some more.
Wait,
More
Jeff, stop! Aaron, abort! Well, congratulations, guys. Social Blade just donated 7 times to your... Nice.
Level up?
So I got kind of a different. I got another question.
Nice work there, guys.
If not Mario, what other game would you do a marathon with?
We
Zelda.
The first year we did the Mario Marathon. A couple months after that, we actually partnered up with Cameron Banga and his group, and we played the 2D Zelda games, and they did all the 3D games. I think we could potentially take on all the Zelda games. It would take a lot of practice, but I think that would be probably the other one that people are most familiar with. you've got your Sonic the Hedgehogs and your Final Fantasies and stuff, but Final Fantasy would just be a really long thing, and we would have to have some major sources of entertainment through parts of those games, I think.
Have you ever thought about doing like a World of Warcraft marathon, where you just keep playing World of Warcraft nonstop until you finish the game?
Like in South Park, where they get all fat and
yes.
And
Mom, bring the bedpan.
Everywhere.
The problem with that is you play it for like 100 hours, and then everyone would call you a wimp for like.
Yeah, but you might have people logging on just to follow you around the world.
I know you're like, oh my gosh, you can only play 100 consecutive hours. You are so not a level 78 elf mage.
There was a guy in Japan who did a World of Warcraft marathon, and he ended up in the hospital because he didn't go to sleep.
Ooh.
So it's
it's
not good just to do that.
Sleep-wise, just to comment on that, sleep-wise, first, how many of you guys are going to be doing it, and like, how do you handle sleep?
We have here, I'll show you. We have this binder, the official Mario Marathon guidebook, and in here there's a spreadsheet, and this is our each of the main players, which games we're supposed to captain, sleep, scheduled guest one, Twitter, chat.
That's awesome.
And this goes on for days and days.
You guys are organized.
Yeah, but we'll burn that after the first 12 hours because it'll fall apart.
Yeah, it never works. It's just a rough estimate that it's not like, oh crap, I have to stay awake for 4 hours or 4 days because I'm the only one that knows how to play this game. Like, it kind of works. Apparently our custom software for updating the donations in the feed doesn't work. So I gotta fix that.
Oh.
I'm guessing that a donation came in with some kind of character and there's an escaping issue.
All right. Well, we'll let you guys get back to that now. We wanted to really thank you so very much for joining us on the show here tonight. And we wish you the best of luck throughout the weekend here. And hopefully you'll just have to keep on playing for an entire week because people will just be donating so much there.
We're ready this time. We're off until July 6th. Off work, so.
July 6th, nice. So hopefully, wow, that's like a week and a half. Damn. Well, hopefully the donations will keep running there. We'll be supporting you. We'll check in next week here perhaps and see how you guys are doing if you're still live at that point.
All right.
Yeah, seriously, best of luck to you tomorrow, Brian and Chris. Thank you so much for joining. Everyone watching, mariomarathon.com, and on Twitter, twitter.com/Mario Marathon. Follow there, and if you go to their website, there's links to. You have a Facebook page, I think, on there as well.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. We try and take advantage of all the social media, except for Skype, since it's not a social media site.
Absolutely. So,
so he can't argue his side.
Yeah, we should revote.
Yeah, let's revote now.
Yeah.
We do actually have a vote going on up in the left-hand corner.
Yeah, which is what I was about to bring up here. We've been having a poll throughout the show after we were talking about that to see if we should have a follow-up show to debate that. And it looks like, votes are actually still coming in right now, but it looks like, guys, you got to stop voting. You're changing the percentages. Well, at least about 75% of you guys are saying that, yes, we should have a debate on that, and 20% don't have an opinion. So only one person has said no so far. So that will be most likely coming pretty soon. So thank you again, everyone, thank you guys, Chris and Brian, for joining us. Thank you, everyone, for watching. You guys have been great in the chat room on the live show here. You support us each and every week, so thanks so much for that. It makes it really a fun show. Thanks also to our sponsor, hothardware.com. Without you, we'd have a hard time doing the show, so thanks for that. Everyone, please follow us also on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. You can go to each of those sites /SocialBlade. You'll find us there. If you go to our blog, socialblade.com/show, first off, we post a lot of stories throughout the week, even when we're not live, so check on that. If you think you know someone that you think would be a great guest on the show, up at the top of the website, socialblade.com/show, there's a Suggest a Guest section there. So if you think you know someone as great as Brian and Chris, please use that, and we can get them on. Lastly, so you can make sure you never miss a show again in the future, if you go to j.mp/SUBUS Subus, you can sign up to get SMS alerts. So when we go live, you'll get a text message on your phone. And not only our show, but you can also get alerts for Ask Outcast, Band on the Web, and The Drill Down. So lastly, again, thank you everyone for watching, and everyone also that watches on YouTube, because all of our episodes are on youtube.com/socialblade. And until next week, Thursday at 10 o'clock Eastern, when we go live again, we are Social Blade.
Invading the internet, covering Web 2.0, coast to coast, worldwide, and everywhere in between. This is where you put the social in social media. We are Social Blade.